right, welcome back to another edition of the Instant Journeyman podcast. This is the Whatever Wednesday series. I am your host, Jeremy Andrzejewski, and today I'm actually going to be the guest. And I know what you're thinking. Well, Jeremy, you've only had 19 episodes and you've ran out of guests. You would be wrong. I actually have a great lineup coming up, and we're going to talk about that because that's one of the questions I'm going to go over. But today I wanted to, do a little Q&A. I've seen this done in other podcasts that I really enjoy listening to, and I think it's fun because you can ask me different questions and I answer them. A lot of these questions are about the podcast, so I'm gonna answer those. I think we have about 6 or 7 questions that we're gonna go through. These questions have come through email, which I'm gonna put in the video. I don't know if it's gonna go up here or down here. I don't know, but my email address is instantjourneyman@gmail.com. All right. And then you can also message me directly at Instant Journeyman Podcast on Instagram, or you can go ahead and submit a question via our website, and the website is theinstantjourneyman.com. So any of those things, I'm going to try to put those all over the screen. I'm going to figure it out. I don't know. But I thought this would be a fun thing, so we'll give it a shot. If it fails, we have great guests next week that you're going to listen to, so who cares? If it's successful, I'm going to might do this, every like 6 weeks or so. When I get a bunch of questions that come in, I'll answer them on another podcast. But since this is a Whatever Wednesday, we can do whatever the hell we want. All right. So the first question I always get is, why'd you start a podcast? And it's very simple. I'm an attention whore. Love attention. While I'm half joking there, I do, like the kid and say that I'm an attention whore. But the real reason I started was I was really looking for an outlet to learn and talk to different people. And people that I, sometimes would never talk to, and other times people that I've found inspiring or, interesting to talk to in my past, endeavors. So I went ahead and I said, I'm going to do this, but I need to come up with, a topic. I need to come up with a reason to talk to these people. So the first reason, very simple. I'm interested in finding out what makes people successful. And is there a direct correlation on what they do and to, whether they become successful or not? So I went ahead and said, the first episode I'm ever going to do is a Monday motivation. And I did it with a good friend, Gary, who I think is very successful in his arena. And we had a great conversation. If you haven't listened to it, episode 1 for Monday Motivation with Gary Brown, I really had a good time doing it. And I was like, man, this is cool. Then I said, you know what? It's a little too structured because our Monday motivation is 5 questions. It's, everything ranging from, how did you get to where you are to what time of the day do you wake up? And it's 5 questions that are the same for every single guest. So I was like, this is great. And it allows me to see if, a lot of these guests have similar traits. But I said, you know what? I also want an outlet where I can talk to people and learn different things, not only about success and all that, but learn different things. Maybe have somebody, in the medical field, or maybe somebody in the fitness field, and go all down those roads and learn about different things. So I said, I'm going to have what I call a Whatever Wednesday, and hindsight, I would forget about the days of the week. And I would just say motivation podcast, and then the whatever podcast. But it doesn't have a nice ring to it, so I'm going to stick with it. It's just very difficult because, working with different people's schedules and things like that, it's hard to record sometimes to get it on a Wednesday or a Monday. But I've done well so far. I haven't missed an episode yet, and I actually had to postpone a couple episodes so I can do this Q&A, but I thought it was a fun idea, so I said, I'm gonna postpone it and move it back a week, everything back a week. So I did that. I'm very excited. So that's how I started the podcast. I just wanted to, meet with different people, and I'm hoping that this opens up doors to talk to people that I normally wouldn't get the opportunity to, right? hell, I would love to have, The Rock or Kevin Hart or, people like that. And I know people are looking at this and saying, yeah, right, you can't get that. I understand. But, no harm in trying. So somebody will see this and they'll be like, hey, this guy's good. Let's get him on. But other than that, that's why I got into podcasting, because I liked, talking about different topics and learning about different things. So that was the question I get the most, is why did you start a podcast? Second question I get, and a really close second, is how did you come up with the Instant Journeyman? And that was a hard one. I came up with a ton of different names. I bounced them off of people that I respect, like their opinions. I said, what's a good name? Is this a good name? I threw a couple ideas out at them, and they're like, eh. And then this one got enough likes where I was thinking like, okay, I might be onto something. And then people were like, but explain to me why it's the Instant Journeyman. And I'm going to go ahead and share with you. I Googled Journeyman, right? And I said, what's the definition of journeyman? So historical, it's a trained worker who is employed by someone else, like a journeyman electrician, a journeyman carpenter, things like that. And I was like, nah, that's not it. And then it says a worker or sports player. So this is another definition of it. A worker or sports player who is reliable but not outstanding. And I did that a little tongue-in-cheek, but I also did it because if you ask any of my friends, I'm probably the most reliable friend out there, right? I will always be there. You need me to do something, I'm there. If you are in trouble, I'm there. I'm very reliable in that sense. I'm going to pick up the phone. Shit. My wife's family calls me when they try to get a hold of her because I always pick up the phone. I'm reliable in that sense. But it says reliable but not outstanding. And I was like, you know what? I'm really not outstanding at anything. Some friends would be like, you're an outstanding friend. Some friends would say, well, you're outstanding at the fact that you can do something with no training, right? I've done that. I can't even count how many times. Where the most recent one is 2 years ago. I said, I think it was less than 30 days before the race, I said, I'm going to go run 50 miles, 50-mile race, ultramarathon. And I didn't train one bit, didn't run once before that. I haven't run, I think it was like 3 months before that. I was the last time I ran, and I said, I'm just going to do it. That's just how I do things. I'm just right away, instantly jumping in 100%. So that's how Instant Journeyman came about. I found that it was pretty fitting where I'm a worker and sports player, because I played hockey, ran competitively in obstacle course racing, played all the other sports that are out there, and I said, so this is fitting, a worker or sports player. Good, that's me. Check and check. Who is reliable but not outstanding. And I said that fits me perfectly. So that's how I came up with Journeyman. And then I put instant in there because in an instant or right away, I will jump into it and I will be reliable but not outstanding. So that's how I came up with the name. I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool. So I went with that. All right. The next question I get all the time is, how do you determine who's going to be a guest? And simply, I went through a list of people I know, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, my phone book in my iPhone, and I just said, who is really fun to talk to, and is what I would consider successful, because successful is relative, right? You could be successful at changing light bulbs. You can be successful at whatever. So I wanted to make sure I picked, good, interesting people to talk to. And with that, I started going down the list and saying, like, you know what, let me reach out to these people and see if they'd be interested in having a conversation with me and recording it and posting it. So I've been blessed. I've been able to get some really, really interesting people and fun people. Some people that are, very, very famous, in their own area. Doc Gen Fit has, over 500,000 Instagram followers, and she's a physical therapist who really focuses on mobility of the body. And I was so happy that she, was able to, come on the podcast. And I only know her through, friends of mine, and we've met a couple times. And had great conversations in the past. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give it a little college try and see if she'll come on the podcast. And she has, I think, 2 podcasts of her own, one with herself and one with her fiance. And I was lucky enough for her to say yes, and got her on. I've had good friends of mine on, like Jim, Falcon, and Lou, and Gary. I've had, personal trainers on, like Samantha and Rachel. And then I've had, a good friend of mine, Cassidy. She's been on, and Alex, and talking about their business called Epic and whatnot. So I really just look to find if somebody's going to be interesting to talk to. I look to find if there is, maybe a story that we can go over, or see if they're motivating, right? I think my number one episode of 2020 was Cassidy's Whatever Wednesday, and it's because we talked in depth about her, becoming a mother, coming from a rock star athlete to becoming a mother, and how she was able to get back into race shape, and now she's entering a race, I think, next month. So it's really cool to go through that process. If you have anybody that you want to hear, I have no shame. I will reach out to them tomorrow. So if you have anybody that you want to hear on the Instant Journeyman podcast, let me know. I will gladly reach out to them and see if they'll come on board. All right. So that's that. The next question is, what guests do you have coming up? Actually, I have quite a few awesome guests coming up. All my guests are awesome, but I have quite a few awesome guests that are coming up. I have Nora Solomon, and she was a final 3 in the Survivor episode, or Survivor series, which was on, I believe, CBS. She was the last remaining female in the game. So I have her on for Monday Motivation and a Whatever Wednesday. It's going to be a back-to-back, because I was like, holy cow, man, this is a great conversation that we're having. I did the Monday Motivation because her story is crazy motivating. She went from $200,000 salary to liquidating all of her assets and putting all of her money into a dream. And you'll have to listen to see if it pays off. And then on top of that, she got onto Survivor, and she's doing all these different things. So we got into that in the Monday Motivation, and I was like, man, I would love to have you on for Whatever Wednesday so we can discuss, more in depth your experience on Survivor and things like that, and go through that. So she said absolutely. So we are recording again for Whatever Wednesday, and we'll put those on next week, actually. Then I have a NHL professional hockey player who just retired that I'm going to have on in a couple weeks. Hopefully for a Monday Motivation and a Whatever Wednesday. We are working out the logistics of recording. I'm also going to have on some people, and we're not going to get into names because I like to, save the excitement and to reveal it that day. So I have somebody who is started their own business. They I know them from high school. They started their own cigar rolling business, and I find it so unbelievably awesome. I'm working on getting him in the studio or virtual studio, and we're gonna discuss. I mean, he went outside the U.S. to learn how to roll cigars the right way, and he's got his own brand now, and it's kicking butt. So I wanted to have him on. I thought that was super interesting. I have a couple other people that are already interviewed or we're going to be interviewing. One is a friend that battled addiction, and we're going to go over that, which I'm really excited about. To share the story of how she overcame it, and what it's all about, and how you can learn from that. So I have that going, and then actually I have to look at my board because I have a whiteboard with all my my guests up and coming, but I have a doctor, I have a firefighter, I have more and more guests coming on. So stay tuned. It's going to be a fun year. I just started videoing these, and it's whether or not the person that I'm interviewing has the capabilities or the want to have it videoed. So some of them will be videoed and put up on YouTube. Others will just be on the normal Apple Podcast, Amazon Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, Podbean, things like that. All right. Next, we have what is Friday Funnies all about? And I've worked with a good friend of mine, Lou, and I said I want to, Monday motivation is very, straightforward. It's motivate. Hopefully, it's motivating. It's more of a serious, tone to it. Whatever Wednesday is, anything and everything. Yes, I have some fun. Particularly like when my buddy Shay is on, we have a blast and we talk crazy stuff and go on with that. And I said, you know what? I want a series where I can go ahead and it could be just so dumb, but so funny. And I said, I'm going to name it Friday Funnies, and it's not going to come out every week, but maybe it will. I don't know. It depends on how, people react to it. But I said, what? I'm going to do this. And I just haven't figured out the format. And at the end of last year, I was scrolling through, Instagram, and I found Barstool was selling these a deck of cards, and the cards say ATI, answer the internet, and they have questions, questions that are philosophical, questions that are about love and romance, and then questions that are just absolutely extreme, and some of them are not safe for work, so please don't listen to this without earphones on when it comes to the Friday Funnies. But I thought, what, if I can go ahead and have 5 maybe 10 minutes at max of me interviewing anybody. So I'm literally just going to go bonkers and just ask every single person I know if they'll just come on for 5 to 10 minutes, where I'm going to ask them rapid fire questions from the ATI deck and that I bought, and just have them answer it, just to get a good laugh, and end the week on a high note. So I decided to do that, and Lou did a funny sponsorship, little clip there at the end. So I've been including that. I'm working with Lou to try to get him to do more sponsorship. Just funny. They're not real sponsors, but just to adds to more to that series. Then the last question I get all the time is, where can I get those awesome hats? I am running low. I think I have 2 hats left, and then I'll reorder them. I also have mugs. Shameless plug here. We have sweatshirts, we have t-shirts, we have socks, we have everything. So if you're interested, just shoot us an email, and our email address again is instantjourneyman@gmail.com, or you can DM us on Instagram, which is @instantjourneymanpodcast. Or send us a message on our website, which is www.theinstantjourneyman.com. So that's really all I wanted to talk about. I wanted to just answer the questions that come in. Please keep on throwing questions in. Make them as fun as possible. Ask away. I love to go ahead and do this. So I'm hoping, in another 6 to 8 weeks, I'll have another Q&A episode I can, fire off and do. So thank you for listening, and I hope you guys have a great week. This Friday, I think I'm going to go ahead and use Shay's ATI clip because the Buffalo Bills, yes, I'm a big Buffalo Bills fan. The Buffalo Bills are in the second playoff game, so I want to share his episode for ATI because he answers it with Josh Allen in mind, and Josh Allen is our awesome quarterback, our savior. So I might do that. But other than that, thank you guys. Have a great rest of your week, and I appreciate you guys listening.